So we're getting to the end of 2022, and I wanted to give you an update on my passion project, my startup, business, product, whatever you want to call it, really. And I wanted to kind of walk you through a couple of the major updates I've had. Just because I'm not talking about it on YouTube doesn't mean I'm not working on it. Talk a little bit about what I've been learning about running a passion project while I have a full-time job. A lot of people actually ask me, like, how do you balance that with life and doing, having a family and having friends and doing stuff like that, and then also like working on all this other stuff and then doing YouTube even at the same time. So I'm hopeful I can kind of shed a little bit of light on that. There are three pretty big things that I've been working on in the last couple months. The first one is I have brought on a great new collaborator. One of my big focuses with this project is that it is clinician-led. Now, to back up a little bit, if you're not familiar, I spend a lot of my time working on this passion project that I call Alloy Healthcare OS, which is it's a kind of an all-in-one operating system for healthcare organizations for the most part. And one of my hopes is that it can be very physician or clinician led. And essentially what that means is doctors and nurses and everybody else who contributes inside of a healthcare organization can kind of lead the design, lead the product direction of this product. By interviewing them, by talking to them, by doing a design process, a people-centered or kind of user-centered design process, as a lot of people call it. And one of my big focuses and one of the challenges with a project like this, and really with a product of this scale, is finding the right people to talk to on a regular basis. This new person, they're a friend of a friend, and they are a ER nurse in the Northeast of the United States. And when I had my first conversation with him, we had such a deep conversation about the challenges that he works through in the hospital, in the inpatient setting. And it was such a rich, valuable conversation, and he was so excited and to see someone working on this with a passion and with a purpose that it felt like there was just kind of this immediate click between the two of us. I'm lucky enough to have a few folks who are like that. I consider them like kind of advisors, if you will, collaborators is what I call them right now. But they are people who see this project and they go, I want to help. I want to be involved. I want to give you feedback. I want to give you my impressions. I want to give you, I want to help you understand. And that's just so valuable. And the second major update is thinking about product direction. And product direction is such a complex thing because building an MVP of most products means that you just kind of streamline or you strip out features. Usually when you build an MVP for a startup or for an app or something, most people think about you just strip out the features and then you add things to it. But minimum viable product doesn't mean minimum product. It means minimum usable product. And a minimum usable product in the healthcare space is a much larger product than most MVP products in other spaces. And so So my challenge is to be really intentional with the product direction to pitch an MVP to a potential customer. My approach here is twofold. One is to think about the product very differently than any other product in the space. Think about this as a holistic system that can integrate all pieces of all data and workflows that a physician or a healthcare practice needs to use. You can integrate them all together and they all kind of work seamlessly together. The second way that I'm kind of thinking about this product direction is to figure out who, like differentiate based on the person or the type of practice, the specialty, rather than trying to build something for everyone. And so I've spent a lot of time thinking about this. The first part of this is to say this healthcare OS system is a product that helps you manage every aspect, everything. Marketing, hiring, clinical workflow, billing, patient intake, social media, website, like all that stuff. And then the second part of that is to make it for a very particular person. And the person that is easiest to make this for is a clinician or a physician who wants to start their own practice, really. Because they have the aligned user needs of a system like this and the ability to make the decision to buy a system like this. And you can empower them to start their own practices. And you can empower them to be independent and to be community-based physicians, which is something that a lot of people really actually truly need right now, because we are seeing a consolidation of care in the United States, which is not necessarily a good thing. And my last piece of progress has been on the messaging. And this is probably the hardest thing, because the messaging is, how do you talk about that stuff to these people? And I've been working on a marketing site. I've got some designs, I've got some direction, and I'm hopefully going to be launching it in January-ish of next year. And my goal is to basically stress test the idea, stress test the features and the messaging with people who might want to buy this product. Now, the question is, how do you manage all of this? How do you manage a passion project on a day-to-day basis? And my answer is very simple, because this is what I think is I think driven a lot of my progress in 2022, is to say, what if? What if I spent an hour per day? What if I spent an hour per week on something? And what would happen if I just took some time to learn how to build something or how to design something? What would happen if I took the time to talk to these people about this idea? And I think that's really the key with any passion project, and finding the time for it, finding the energy for it, is to wonder and dream, what if? What if I spent the time on it? What if I put the effort in? What if I learned a new skill? And this can really apply to almost anything. It could be a passion project, it could be starting a side business, it could be learning a new skill. It's so easy for us to, I think, get caught up in the, well, what if it doesn't work? The exact opposite is also true. What if it does work? And that's why I spend all my time. That's why I spend this time making these videos. That's why I spend the time talking to physicians and designing things and trying to figure out how to build prototypes and trying to figure out how to write code that can kind of fake this idea. It's not because I definitely believe it's going to work. It's because I believe that it could work. I'm sitting here saying, what if it does? And that's a really exciting prospect. And I find that over time, as you begin to say what if more and more, what if these people really like it, or what if they don't? It's better to understand that. It's better to know that than to always wonder. What if can become what is. But the what is only happens when you put the work in and when you put the effort in. What if this worked? And I think you'll find that you'll surprise yourself. Certainly surprised me.